Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
We are the fourth quarter storytellers, and we are here this morning ready to tell you some more stories. And today we're going to be talking about something really, really interesting. But first, let us introduce ourselves to you guys. Hey, y'all. I'm Cynthia Merritt, and I am 60-ish. And I was approaching retirement and found myself with no substantial retirement savings, and then thinking about the possibility of living on Social Security alone for the rest of my life. Oh my gosh. So that's my story, and I'll turn it over to Val.
Good morning. I am Valerie Davis, and I am 53 years old. I am divorced, and I found myself going through my savings, utilizing my 401k, and now starting over in the work world. And that is why I'm here, to give information, to retrieve information, and to make life better for us all.
All right now. Okay. And here in the fourth quarter storytellers community on this channel, we talk about building community with like-minded individuals, sharing information about health and wellness, and then about lifestyle options. Of course, at this point in our life, financial improvement, yay, some travel and relocation, and then much more. And then this place is a place of no judgment, you guys. And then Brene Brown, I always like to quote her. What she says is, for shame to grow, it needs secrecy, it needs silence, and it needs judgment. So we have none of that here. And if you get any praise reports on your journey, we love hearing praise reports.
Yeah.
Please share those with us. Okay. So today we're talking about a very important topic, you guys. The importance of marriage, and especially for the 50 plus demographic, because there is a value. Marriage is very valuable. That's the way I need to put it. Especially for people our age, marriage can potentially help you build wealth. And actually, marriage is the number one way to help you build wealth, help us build wealth. And it can do it in many ways. And then due to being able to pool our resources, we have increased financial stability, just being able to comfortably afford our lifestyles because we're pooling those resources together. And then we have that synergistic benefit. And then combining those incomes and assets and responsibilities, spiritual and mental, emotional support, that is so huge, you guys. If you go to work and have a bad day, just being able to come home and vent to someone who can hold you in their arms and say, baby, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through together. That does a world of good for our spirit. Don't you agree? Yeah, I hear you saying
a world of good. It gives you that second wind.
Absolutely.
Just relax. I'm like, wow, this is my safe haven.
Yes. And he's got me and I got him. Yeah. Or, however that may be. Okay, so ways marriage can help build wealth. The first one I want to talk about is dual incomes. Most of us have an income, and the direct benefit from marriage with our income is the combination of those two incomes. That's going to increase our buying power. That's going to lessen our burden of covering bills. And when both partners are working and pooling those resources together, then we have that disposable income that allows us to build that emergency savings fund easily and invest, because the thing about it is, if we keep our expenses down, then our expenses going out are less, so we have more money to save. One of us might be able to handle all the expenses with one of our checks, and then the other one can take all of their money and save and invest. And that's putting us in a better situation. And I need to stress the word us, putting us in a better situation at that point, because it's not putting one spouse or the other. We're working conjunctively. And I'm hoping at this point in our lives that we have the desire to just be Once we find that right person, which is paramount here, that's the prerequisite. You've
Yes.
got to vet this person and make sure this is your right person that
Mhm.
you can grow old with, because otherwise all of this can be thrown out the window.
I
So
agree with that.
and so the shared expenses, like I was just talking about, the cost of living is going to be cheaper because we're doing it together and it's not all on one person, and it reduces the cost, freeing up that money for savings and investments.
Mhm.
Okay, Val, I'm going to turn it to you.
All right. I'll also say from the point of a tax benefit. So for your tax benefit, married couples, you can file jointly. Okay, so when you file your joint taxes, this results in tax savings, and we always want savings. That's what we're talking about, how this is going to benefit us. So, for example, a couple, they could qualify for tax deductions or credits that they wouldn't receive as an individual. So, being married from before, I do recall that, and it made it easier. And we were able to save money. We were able to save money on our taxes. Um, so some couples may also fall in a lower tax bracket. That's very important. So having that couple there, having that husband, having that
Absolutely.
wife, puts you in that lower tax bracket when you file jointly. So, which can mean that you can now take home more money in your paycheck. So more money coming in, less money going out. You're saving money, and like Cynthia said, when you get to save that money, you can do more with your money. It's not all going to bills. You want to save it for later. You want to
Yep.
have a great retirement. You want to be able to travel, you know? So that's
Yes.
how you can do those things without having to just take out of your pocket all the time. So being married, being a couple is really good. There's benefits from that. Okay. And now talking about credit, access to better credit. Okay, access to better credit. Married couples often have combined credit histories, and that may improve their ability to qualify for loans. So now we're talking about purchasing our dream home, purchasing a vacation home, purchasing a nice Winnebago just to go traveling, whatever. That's one of my dreams. I want a Winnebago.
Okay. Okay.
So when you being married and that credit that's combined, so now you get a better loan offer. Your interest rates are better, so there's a lower interest rate. Okay, so that's lower interest rates or higher credit limits. So having that husband, that combined credit, that great credit, gives you lower interest rates, however, higher credit limits. Okay. So now that is a way that will make it easier for you to invest in real estate or start a business. I like that, invest in real estate. You can
Yes.
invest in real estate. Cynthia spoke of some things um, last conversation that she was doing in reference to real estate. So when you have that combined credit, you have that husband there, that combined income, you can do so much more. So these are benefits of building wealth when you are a married couple, a solid couple. Okay, so these are some
Absolutely.
benefits that you can have. Um, there's a whole lot more, a whole lot more. Cynthia, you want to go over health insurance and benefits for them, and
I
then
sure do.
okay.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So health insurance and benefits, you guys. So a lot of companies are providing the better health insurance benefits for spouses. So having access to a spouse's health insurance plan can definitely reduce medical costs or leaving you more money for savings and investing. Because you're doing that, that's definitely a plus for that. Some employers are also offering the retirement benefits of the 401k. Most employers are offering the 401k benefits, and that's a perk that you can also get from as a married couple. You can benefit from that if you have two 401ks, and so and you can put them together as well. And then estate planning and inheritance. So marriage can definitely simplify your process for estate planning and passing down the wealth of the spouse's inherited assets. If you have a spouse that has a rich aunt or uncle, and they leave an inheritance for your spouse, that inheritance actually then becomes your pool
Exactly.
inheritance. So
Mm-hmm.
you guys, what they are getting, if they have a pension, then they're going to start you. And I'm just going to digress for just a
Mm-hmm.
second because I'm actually taking. I started yesterday with this class. It's an investment class with a financial advisor, and he's a fiduciary, and it's awesome the stuff we're learning. But the what I'm about to do, and didn't even think about this because these are some things that you learn as you educate yourself on these things. I have I mentioned this before, a small pension from a company I work for, the telecommunications company where I got laid off in 2000. And so my pension is just there. It's waiting for me to start getting it when I retire. But I can actually take that little pension right now and
Mm-hmm.
invest it. Who
Mm-hmm.
knew? Who
Mm-hmm.
knew?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, oh, I'm getting on that on Monday. So, but see, and if you have a spouse,
Mm-hmm.
that spouse's pension, your pension, these are things that you can pool together, these assets, and just build wealth with these strategies, you guys. And so this is what we have to start thinking about at this, especially at this age, because now we have to act strategically to try to make sure that we end up with, like Val just said, that money to be able to travel and enjoy our lifestyle in this last quarter, in the fourth quarter of our lives. So,
That's
yep. So estate planning and inheritance, and then health insurance benefits, both of those could definitely act in our favor if we strategically plan this with a spouse. Okay, Val?
I love that. But I
I,
do want to ask you a question, being that you mentioned, if you don't mind, being that you mentioned that you were laid off the job in 2000, you just found out about the pension. So then that makes me think like, okay, so maybe if we were at a job years ago and got laid off and didn't know, so that's something we need to go back and check on. Is that something that we need to
Absolutely. Absolutely.
do?
Absolutely. And you should be able to look your company up and find out, where go through their HR department. In my company, actually,
Mhm,
mine was Sprint long distance. So Sprint no longer exists, but
mhm,
they've turned into T-Mobile because T-Mobile bought them out. And so now, but I was able to track down the benefit line and called and found out and got my paperwork sent to me and everything. So I see that I have that pension waiting for me. So yeah, just track down your company, go to the HR, find out, if you had a pension, because people weren't. That was back when I got hired with Sprint in 1993,
mhm,
and so companies went to from pensions, they
mhm.
left pensions and went to 401ks.
Okay.
So, right. So, what they said was, we're not going to give you this money anymore for the rest of your life, but we're going to let you save it yourself. So
Oh,
they took the pensions away, and I'm not sure what year the pensions went away for most companies, but most
mhm,
companies don't have them anymore. But thank
mhm,
God I was at Sprint for 10 years before they folded, and then
mhm.
and got that little pension that I got. So, but yeah, so and then so I didn't have a 401k from them.
Okay, that's good to know. So,
Mhm.
viewers, we know to go back
Yeah,
and track old jobs because we may have something sitting there that we benefit to for
absolutely.
today. Okay,
Yes,
all
yes.
right. So, as we continue to speak on why we feel that being married, being a couple, is beneficial, especially to save money, we want to talk about making better financial decisions. Okay, so now when we have both partners, they're involved in managing household finances. There's often a more disciplined approach to budgeting and saving and investing. So I laugh on that because I do recall um, when you have one that's stronger, this is their strong suit with budgeting. You can save a whole lot more money. They're not going to not allow, but you would not want to just overspend or spend ridiculously. All right. So having that person there to say, hey, let's put this money in this pot. Let's save here. Let's find a strategy that we can save money without having to just always spend all the time, and let's build a pot. Okay, so then you want to have an accountability partner. So here again, if it's not your strong suit, if money and spending is not your strong suit, you have that accountability partner to step in and to step up and make things
And that's huge.
visible.
That's
That's
huge.
huge.
Because when that's not our strong suit, if we're the only one involved and we don't have an accountability partner, we don't recognize that.
We don't.
This is not your lane, girl.
That's right. Pattern. So now you're doing the same thing over and over again. You're wondering, like, well, how do I keep getting to this point?
Thank you.
Get to this point? And then by the time someone points it out to you, now you're going to be upset. You're going to be in denial. But when you have that great couple, you have that pair, you guys are equal, you can have that accountability partner and that support that can help both partners stay focused and stay focused. So and by staying focused, you're going to stay focused on your long-term financial goals, not just your short-term. Okay. We want our investments, we want our savings to last us for a long while. I've heard someone say, well, I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow, so I'm just going to spend. What's going to happen when you're here tomorrow and the next tomorrow and the next year and the next year and the next year, and now you're in a crunch?
Can I tell a story about that right quick?
You surely can.
My father, when he was, he told me a long, long time ago, my father's, he's passed on now, but he told me a long, long time ago, he said, Cindy, I took my Social Security when I was 62, when they started letting us take it when I was 62, because I didn't think I was going to live to be 65. And he said he didn't think he was going to live to be 65, and he died when he was 90.
And it's taken, So
and I said, Daddy, you could have had more money if you had waited till you 70. You here 20 more years after that. They're still going to the golf course. I'm like, oh my God.
So it's all about the mindset and then how you program yourself and what information you receive. So when you start to have those thoughts, you need to gather yourself, put yourself around, encouraging people that know, hey, we want to talk about financial freedom here. So let's talk about it. Even though you want to spend like this, let's get it together, young lady, young man, because we want to look at down the road. Okay. So we want to save what? Long term.
Absolutely.
If you don't remember anything else today, you remember that you want to save long term. All right. Okay. Because I made that same mistake. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I can do this. I'm going to go ahead and trade in these shares and okay, I'll just whatever. No.
Right.
Okay. So now we also want to talk about wealth building through investments. As a couple, pooling resources allows couples to make larger investments, such as purchasing properties, starting a business, which can be appreciated in value over time. So purchasing a property, purchasing a home, as we stated before, an investment property, commercial building, purchasing a commercial building and then renting those spaces out, those units out. You can do that with better credit, lower interest rate, more money. And then now you're investing and you're making money. So now you're making money together. All right. So here again, we want to save long term.
Yeah, and you know what? And I think about this just because I'm a real estate broker, and I think about when I'm selling properties to people. If I have a single woman or single man making $75,000 a year, then they get pre-qualified, and then that's their amount that they're eligible to buy. Now, if that person were married and both of them are coming to the table making 75, That's $150,000.
Yes.
They can qualify for more house,
Hmm.
and they don't definitely. I always advise my clients not to take that full amount
Right.
of the pre-qualification, but they
Hmm.
could get lower, but that just increases what they're able to do. So if they want to do a renovation down the line, there's still some,
Hmm.
they can get some equity and built up in the house and get a HELOC and all this kind of stuff. And all that plays into two
Yes,
people's incomes. It's just huge, guys.
that is so true.
Mhm.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. And speaking
Couple.
of that, yeah, married couples just speak. That's a great segue. Married couples, you also can take advantage of the tax advantages for being a married couple, like a joint retirement account, and investment opportunities that are available to couples. There are
Hmm.
some that are available to married couples,
Hmm.
and as opposed to single individuals. And you can't just be a couple, you have to be a married couple. So no common law people up in there. But debt reduction. So one of this, if you have one spouse that has substantial loans like student loans, credit card debt, and a lot of times that's not uncommon,
Hmm.
for one person to come in really burdened with debt heavily. But if you're in love and you have debt, hopefully at this point in our life, but some of us do still have debt that maybe we took on later in life. I still have student loan debt, doggone it.
So do I.
Yeah, I know, right? And then the other spouse's income and financial habits can definitely help reduce that debt
Mhm.
faster because you're combining the resources and you can tackle that debt like we were talking about when we talked about that, Val, with that
Mhm.
snowball method and that avalanche method, doing
Right.
those with two incomes, you can
Hmm.
knock that thing down so much quicker.
Yes, it goes by so much faster than you're on
Yes,
the road to recovery to do what you want and how you need it. Yes.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
and then so let me just summarize what we've been talking about. I want to end with, and I listen to Mel Robbins a lot, and I love her podcast and her thinking. I really love her thinking. She and
Hmm.
her husband have been married for 28 years, and Mel's secret to success, her secret sauce, she says, for marriage is just don't get off the seesaw. And you
Oh,
know how when you're on the seesaw, one person's up, the other person's down, and you go up and down, and that's where it is kind of in marriage. She and her husband talk about this all the time. And there are times when you go here and you're right here, both of you are at the same place at the same time, right here. And
hmm.
and that's good. But then it goes down, and one person may be down. Her husband had a pizza restaurant that ended up going down under, and she was working a job, but he lost his business and he was down, so you go through things, but you have to, if you have that support person
Yes.
there, you can get through those things and keep going. Because he was like, he found himself in the at the school line picking up the kids, and he was like, how did I get here,
Mhm.
when he was sitting there one day. But he was able to go pick up the kids. That
Mhm.
she didn't have to hire somebody to do that while she was at work, because she had someone there to do it. So you can do that when you have a spouse.
Mhm.
That's the
Mhm.
secret sauce. So she said the secret sauce is just figure it out, but do not get off the seesaw. Because, when you're on that seesaw, eventually somebody gets tired and they jump off, and then the
Mhm.
other person slams down to the ground.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
yeah. And I remember that happening when I was a kid. Somebody jumped off when they were at the top, and then I just slammed. I was like, what? But anyway, but yeah, so and that's how it goes in marriage sometimes
It does.
when
It
somebody.
does. And you know what, Cynthia? I'm glad that you gave that analogy because I just had a conversation with a family member.
Mhm.
They're a young married couple, and the wife, she's a nurse. They have three small kids, so the
Okay.
wife is a nurse, and the husband is attending classes, and he's taking care of the kids at home while she's working so that he can complete his classes
Okay.
And so it's kind of like the roles are reversed, but
Hmm.
because they're looking at it the right way so
Yes.
that they can see the benefit later. Now, also with that, like I said earlier, you got to have surround yourself around strong people that know
Yes.
what the end goal is.
Yes.
So you won't take on that negativity from other people. So listening to you,
Hmm.
thinking about them, they're doing this to increase their life together, to
Yes.
increase their money, so that way they can start saving as a family
Hmm.
and doing bigger things in life. So it's good to have that balance.
It
So,
is.
so
It
I just
is.
thought about that. I'm like, okay, so this falls in line with what we're talking about. So I'm kind of glad that we are speaking about this. So for them, from an early age, I can go back and say, hey, these are some things that you guys can look forward to now
Hmm.
as a couple.
Absolutely.
This is some,
Absolutely.
this is how you can benefit as a couple, So, great conversation, great analogy, seesaw now.
Yes, and for them, because they are younger,
Mm-hmm.
um, my thought came into my mind that many people, especially in this day and time, might advise her to
Mm-hmm.
be careful
Mm-hmm.
because they might say, "Girl, don't let him get that degree and then leave you, then you up here working and doing all that." Because, we've heard those stories. However, the
Mm-hmm.
key is for
Mm-hmm.
them to remain, like you said, remain a team,
It's,
constantly stay in that team mindset, and so that no one gets off the seesaw
that's right.
when the goals are finished. So yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. And that's another reason that we're having this conversation is because not just for us at 50 plus, but this is the way us at 50 plus need to be guiding our children because they need to be married.
Mm,
They need to be starting off and because I know other communities that like I know the Indian community is really huge on that, and they even choose their spouse, some of their children's
yeah.
spouses in
Mm,
some communities, but but they make sure that that marriage is almost transactional. It really is.
mm,
And it's something that because it's just recognized as this is the way you build wealth,
right.
and that's not top of mind for our
For
community.
our community, yeah.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So we sometimes look at it as like you said, it's transactional. We look at it like a business. Well,
Hmm.
sometimes you got to look at it as a business because
Marriage is a
yours.
business.
This
Yes.
is your livelihood. You put the
Yes.
work into it more
Hmm.
than 8 hours a day. So this is your business, and you want it to provide. You want it to excel. So you have to look at it in that manner at some point.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then marriage, it offers several ways to build the wealth, and we just need to make sure to always have, if we want financial success through this marriage, because now we're talking about transactional, and there's nothing wrong with that because it is, and we need effective communication.
Mm.
We need to have aligned goals, and that goes to the couple you were just talking about with the teamwork.
Hmm.
Our goals need to be aligned. What are we trying to do here?
Right. Right.
And then
Hmm.
sound
Hmm.
decisions between the partners, making those
Right.
good decisions. And we want to avoid disagreements as much as we can regarding money and financial management, because that
Hmm.
can harm the wealth building if we get into disagreements. So we need to make sure we're on the same page, the same team, and just act with love, compassion, and kindness.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, good deal.
I agree. I
All
totally
right.
agree. I totally agree with this all the way. And this is a good session. This is a
Yeah.
good session for individuals that may be considering being in a long-term relationship again, getting married again,
Hmm.
maybe before they didn't look at these avenues or reasons. But this is a really good topic of discussion.
Absolutely. And it's good for us 50 plus, and it's great for us 50 plus to be able to advise our children because this is the way we need to change some things here.
Mm.
Things need to look better for our children and their children's children as far as wealth is concerned. Yeah.
That is so true. And earlier this morning, before I got on, I was listening to Pastor Keon, and he too was talking about the same thing. That
Okay.
how, yeah, how as when we were growing up, or either our parents were growing up, this information was not put in their mind.
Mhm.
Um, the building wealth,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
making something of yourself, other than, oh, get married, go to school, what next?
And you know what? That has taken our number one spot, Val. I didn't mean to cut
Mhm.
you off.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
fine. Hmm.
The number one thing is not in our community. It's not to get married.
Hmm.
It's go
Not
to
anymore.
school, get those degrees, get us
Yes.
a student loan debt, honey. Get
Uh-huh.
the degrees, and you. I
Exactly.
mean, we can have 3, 4, 5 degrees, and then but no husband.
No
So then
husband.
we're manning the ship, driving the cruise ship all on our own out there in the Atlantic Ocean. And then the other cruise ship comes by. We're on Carnival, driving the Carnival, and Royal Caribbean drives by, 2 ships passing in the night. And we like, boo,
I'm just passing
boo.
by.
They're like, hey,
Yeah.
come here, can I marry you? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So we
Anywho,
gotta change the narrative of
yes.
what we're explaining and why we're explaining this. And then a lot of times, back in the day, they didn't explain a why. They didn't give us a why. They
No,
just told us. So I think it's very important to give a why as when you're
absolutely.
giving advice. Give them the why. Give them scenarios, so that they can kind of understand better to make the decision and know why they're going in that direction. So
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you said that because my oldest son, he when he was little, he was so cute. He he was just full of questions. When we went to Disney World on vacation, and we would go to one of the theme parks, and then we would be getting ready to leave, and because I videoed everything on camcorder, girl. Remember we had
back
camcorder,
then, yes.
and so I would say, "Oh, sit down over there," and Mom, I said, "Because we're getting ready to go now to the other theme park," and then he was like, "Why are we leaving?" And I said, "Because we're finished. We did everything here, sweetie." But why? Why did we do everything here? And I'm like, because that's why we're here, KJ. And then he was, and then he was like, oh, but why can't we stay? I mean, everything was a why.
Why?
And I have a friend, but I always answered his questions. I never did. And I have a friend who said to me recently, girl, if he was my son, I would have said, stop asking me all these questions. And I said, no, I wanted him to know that he could always ask why, and I would answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you need to give the why.
Why?
Even though it was so annoying, though, Val, sometimes I wanted to punch him in the face.
I understand. I know. I understand, but they're inquisitive.
Yes, I
That's
know. It's
why.
lovely.
Why?
Yes,
Just like
yes.
they're in the car. Where are we going? Where are we going?
Mm-hmm.
Almost there yet? Are we almost there yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. And stop saying, I used to hear people say, because I said so. Well,
Yes, I
not a
know.
reason. That's
Because that develops critical thinking skills too. When they're inquisitive and they ask why, and we answer the question, that lets them know in life, let me
mm-hmm,
find out why. I want to
mm-hmm,
think and find out why. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
yeah.
mm-hmm. And you're gonna be trying to go behind the scene. You're gonna, just think outside the box and try to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so just give them that information.
Why?
So it's different, most more. It's so different today than it was back then.
I know, because we know better. But now the thing is, we know better, but we got to be doing better
You
now.
gotta do better.
Girl.
If you know better, do better.
Do better. Okay.
That's how you do it.
All right. Okay, Val, bring us in with the word, honey.
Let me give you your word for today. Proverbs 3, verses 5-6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Just like the children ask why, and they're asking questions. If it's something you don't know, something you don't understand, talk to God, ask him. That's with anything that you do. Your life, your job, your family, your friends. Don't be afraid to ask. Do not just lean on what you feel, what you think all the time, because sometimes it's just not right.
All right,
Lean
Val.
on God.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that word, girl. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming with us today on the Fourth Quarter Storytellers.
Yes. Don't
Join
forget
us
to like,
again.
subscribe, and share.
Yes,
Right? Got to do it right this
absolutely.
time.
There we go. Bye, guys. Have a great
Have
day.
a great day. Bye bye.
Bye.